Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to ATM Spellbound. Now, since the last episode, it has been a little bit of time. I was actually just doing a little bit of enchanting. I did manage to get Capturing 2. I was doing Tome of Weaponry. Managed to get Capturing 2, and so I put that onto the Scythe. And I also just managed to enchant a book that has Silk Touch. Actually, it was my first Tome of the Miners enchant, and what's really nice is you'll notice that we actually have another one right here, and we are going to take that. Let's go ahead and activate this and let it build up 40 levels real fast. I had like 80 something levels, so that goes really far with enchanting. So, and there we go, we got Unbreaking 4, Efficiency 5, and Silk Touch. That's even better. Okay, yeah, we're gonna keep that one. And let's go ahead and get ourselves another just diopside pick. Will be fine. And these can go. And let's go ahead. Boom, there we go. So we got a pick with Unbreaking 4, Efficiency 5, and Silk Touch. That's great. Because we are going to be using that today. For something that I have in mind. Now, since the last episode, you'll notice that we actually have ceilings to some degree. I've been doing a bit of building since the last episode, and if we come over a couple different ways that we can get up here, either that or right here. But if we come over here, you will notice that I've actually started building the top of this section because I wanted to get at least a little bit of the roof on so that we could kind of see what this was going to look like from a distance and kind of start shaping things up slightly on the exterior so it doesn't look so much like a box, because I went off and I was coming back to my base from down there and I was like, man, it just looks like a big limestone box. So then I decided to work on the roof a little bit. You can see this right here, this is frame ladders with polished limestone, and then we've got some of the blind stone here, and then weathered limestone with slab edge with the weathered limestone bricks there as well. And this is black steep roofs, which has been a little bit of a process. We're actually going to make this a little bit easier. Clay I can get from washing sand, which works out all right. We do need to go through and automate our create stuff soon. Originally I was planning on doing that maybe this episode, but I changed my mind because I don't really have the place built where create's going to go, and I don't want to have to set it up more than one more time. And originally I was planning on going for our 12 times ore processing, but Buckwheat Cat brought up in the comments on the episode where we were doing the 6-time processing, and I was actually just about to start this episode, and then they brought that up in the comments on that video, that it does not work on forge dust for the doubling, so we can't actually get 12 times processing. I did test it and it does not work, so just a heads up. I did not realize that that was blacklisted, because like everything else is viable, it seems like, with the doubling, but that is not. But if we pop down here, first up, I've started digging this out. It doesn't really go to anything just yet. We're going to be putting stuff in here later on down the road, but not just yet. But I figured I'd go ahead and just kind of dig this out so you can see. It brings us down to here. And you can see here where I've started shaping this up, it's far from done at the moment. But I decided to do just a little bit so that we could shape up the roof, and then always, and I can't sleep through it. I wanted to get just a little bit of this done so that we could start shaping up the roof a little bit. And we still have a lot of detail to bring down and finish these pillars out, but it's going to be not really hard, but just annoying to do without flight. So I figured we would take a look at that today and kind of get into where we can fly a little bit. Also down here, I did do just a little bit of expansion. I was intending to do more down here, but I didn't get around to it. But you can see this area comes back, and I have placed out the rest of the rituals that we're going to have here. I have Hagen's Enthrall, I've got Abra's Commanding Conjure, I've got Permanent confine or whatever. It's just abbreviated until I get a proper place to put signs. Inverted tower, and then over here Abra's conjure. It's pretty much I think every ritual is laid out now except for the one that summons the Aphorite that we kill. But I have started working towards finishing this area out. It's going to take a little bit. But of course, it is a whole lot easier now to get andesite. It doesn't cost me nether quartz now that we have the alchemy table. Also, if we pop up, let's go up this side. You'll notice a flat section here that I built out. This is going to connect to the second floor of the library and kind of be a place that we can step out and overlook the area. And of course, this is going to be kind of a tower section that rises up. That's why I haven't brought the roof back here, because it's going to kind of plug into some of these other sections that are going to rise up just a little bit taller. But did get kind of a start on the way that this is going to be shaped up. What was not annoying to build. I also filled in a lot of this with lunar cobblestone because we had a lot of empty space between floors and around spaces. And so that way, hopefully mobs won't be spawning in there until I get mob protection within these areas. And then over here, this is going to be an area that we actually christened today. So this is actually going to be our like Broom launch area. We might have more, but I decided to build, because I had this long narrow section that I wanted to bring up a little bit more. So I was like, what am I going to put in there? And originally I was thinking like, well, I could put create in there. But then I decided to have like a Broom launch pad where we can basically get our different brooms from back in here. You know, if we want to switch up brooms, and then we can launch out this section here. So I figured it'd be a little bit more fun than just taking off from like the courtyard or something like that. So anyways, today what we are going to do, we got a bit to do, so we're going to try to jump right into that. First and foremost, now that we have our Silk Touch pick, we are going to pop into, before we get started with anything else, we're going to pop into, I don't know if I just want to get a cave spider spawner, because I don't have any spawn eggs yet with capturing. So I don't think I want cave spiders. I think what we're going to do is we're going to pop into the overworld. And actually, I think what we'll do is we'll head off in this direction. Because we have those mushroom men spawners, and they're not physically all that strong. They also don't climb walls, they don't fly, nothing weird like that. So I think we're going to go and try to grab one of their spawners, actually. We got a spawner hanging down right here. Okay, this is actually skeletons. That's even better, to be honest. And actually, while we're here, let's just take a quick peek around. Most of this is junk. And by the way, it's been really, really nice. As far as... Oh, we got feral claws. I like that. That means I think I might remove... Oh, these are piglins. Let's see what we got. Another set of feral claws. Spore arrow. Spreads the glory of fungus. I'm going to hold on to these because I think we're going to use that. That would actually be really good with the scythe, I feel like. Now, there's another one over there. I don't know if we want to... if we want to tackle it at the moment. But let me go ahead and remove this. Exchange it with that. Because I would rather have to manually access this. I was actually really enjoying having it there, but I think it's going to be better having the extra attack speed. Yeah, I can see a definite difference there. Do mobs actually spawn? Yeah, or loot does anyways. What do we got here? Inactive traveling stone. Rope. Overgrowth. We got a bomb. Coin dragon. Bucket of suspicious stew. Yeah, I think that's it, actually. So this one doesn't have as much, I don't think. But okay, so let's pop back home now at this point. And what we're going to be doing today, we're going to start delving into just a little bit more evilcraft. Now, we don't have the area really built out here at present. But that's okay. For what we're going to be doing today, that'll be fine. What I would like to do is let's go ahead and make ourselves a spike plate. So there's that. And then we're going to make ourselves... Can we pull off the powered one? Yeah, honestly, we can. Yeah, so let's go for that. Let's get a dark block, and let's get the Sanguary Pedestal. Let's just do 32 of these. We're going to throw them into there. That's going to get that crafting up. Which actually... Oh yeah, I left my Extractor down here. Let's pop down there and grab it. Because if we're going to start using the Broom, I would really like to have automated blood. Just because it's going to make our lives a bit easier. We're not going to push like super hard into evilcraft today, but we are going to do just a little bit of stuff here. Now, in addition, while we're doing this, the Promise of Tenacity. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves our first Promise of Tenacity. So there's that. And then the Iron Promise Acceptor, let's grab that. Because this thing is super slow to try to do anything with just yet. There we go. There's the Iron Promise Acceptor. It looks like we actually have quests for this, I think. Oh, and then we need the Dusted Bowl of Promises turned into the Tier 0. Alright, so there we go. There's our Tier 0 Bowl of Promises. And there is our Promise of Tenacity. So we can throw that in there, and then that's going to bump our blood storage up to 40,000. Okay, so at this point, I would like to get this up and going, because I don't want to have to farm up more blood. So let's go ahead, let's dig this back, quite a ways, in fact, and we're going to drop this down, like, say, 2 blocks, and then 1, 2, 3, 4... But yeah, originally we were going to do some Mana and Artifice today, but I think we can postpone it like another episode or 2. I would like to get into it before too long, because I want to start getting into spells, and I think that'll be our first one that we're going to start with. It's not my personal favorite as far as the spellcasting system, but it's one that we're going to have to level and kind of work through a little bit. So I'd rather go ahead and just get it going for now. Now, if you remember evilcraft from 1.12, of course you could use Blood Magic Blood. You know, there was some cross-mod compatibility between Blood Magic and evilcraft, so that you could use Blood Magic to generate your blood. That is no longer the case, at least as of yet. So, we are going to be using actual evilcraft to do it, so. So now at this point, let's go ahead and get our powered pedestal. So there we go. And I can go ahead and pull this out now. Well, I'm going to leave it running though. It's not going to hurt anything. And then we're going to set up our powered pedestal right here. And then let's go, for right now, just so we have a way to access this really, really easily, let's just go ahead and dig this out a little bit. And we'll make all this a little bit nicer here soon. But we're going to go ahead and put down the spike plates onto that. Oh, it actually renders these over my my other gloves now. And then let's go ahead and get ourselves some vector plates. That's slime balls. But I'm going to need a bit of these. Let's see. We could also mill it. I don't think it really matters that much. Let's go ahead and get ourselves 3 crafts of blank slates. And then we're going to go ahead and get ourselves some vector plates out of sugar. Oh, I turned all my sugarcane into paper, actually. But let's go ahead and we're going to run these vector plates out so that they just direct the mobs over to our spiked plate. Okay, now I've got to go get some more sugarcane real quick. Luckily with Apotheosis, every time I go down there, I just get a literal ton of sugarcane. And I use the magnet ring down here. It just makes life a whole lot easier, as you can see, for collecting all the sugarcane. Also for rice, I use it. Of course, they can be upgraded. It's not really that big of a deal for this. I mean, we're not going to be pumping out mobs like crazy fast. At least as of yet, we might down the road, but you know, once we upgrade our spawner a bit. But for now, we'll just go with the green ones. These always make me think of DDR. Oh, I can actually just, as long as I have this on me, the button still works. So, but there we go. That is now running. And let's grab our skeleton spawner. And we'll just drop that in. And if we take a look here, the nearby players to be ignored, we are going to need a nether star. So that is something that we are actually going to do real quick. Nope, actually just spawned one. Or two or something. You can hear it taking some damage there. And you can see we just got a bunch of blood. And the internal capacity of this is 10,000. And you can see it's steadily building up there. Now technically we could make this a bit faster, and we will. But right now this is this should be sufficient. So, hey there. Yeah, and it is building up items there. That's fine. We'll add some collection for that real quick as well. Okay, now let's go ahead. Let's do that. Let's do that. And let's get one of these. This is an upgraded dark tank. And we're just going to put that tank right underneath the pedestal. And that way it starts draining that blood down into this tank. Which is going to give us a pretty nice buffer. And then we can just right click to get all the blood out of this. You can see it filling this up. This will work for right now. And of course we can upgrade that tank by just crafting it with other tanks. Just like, you know, we upgrade the blood extractor by crafting it together with other blood extractors. We could also craft it with other tanks. But let's go ahead actually and shoot for the next promise of tenacity. Either that or promise of velocity, just to speed this up a little bit. There we go. There's our iron promise acceptor. Let's go ahead and get a promise of velocity real quick. Just to speed all this up a bit. There we go. And we'll go ahead and put that in right there. That's going to make this a little bit faster. We're not going to do a ton with blood magic today, but at least buff this stuff up because it's so painfully slow. At present, might be worth doing that. Yeah, this is doing pretty good. There's also a lot of items in there. And while that's crafting up, let's go ahead and get ourselves a just a vacuum chest will be fine. Long term, I wouldn't mind changing it over to a hopper hog, but for right now, that'll be good. And then let's get ourselves... Actually, let me try something. I'm not going to craft another one of these right this second, but something that I'm actually curious about. If we were to have, say... Like right back here, we had a stable wormhole. Could we just put a ender hopper directly onto that? Like, we've got 383 bones in here at the moment. Yeah, okay. So it's automatically collecting items and then just dumping them into here. And that way we don't have to worry about the drops. They're just being fed directly into our system. That's fine. I wasn't really using that anyways, so... Having our demons move the stuff, it's a bit more interesting, but in this case, it does kind of make things a little bit easier in this type of situation. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that. You can see we can store 160,000 millibuckets. Now the tier 2, okay, it's only 5,000. It's unchanged, isn't it? It's just dependent, yeah, it's just dependent on your tier is all. Okay, so there is that. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves another promise of velocity. And then our last slot, we're going to save that for a promise of productivity, which is a little bit better blood efficiency. The diamond promise acceptor. We should be able to get that. Now the quest. Okay, so we were actually on our way to doing that quest anyways. The quest line for this is actually extremely short. Well, anyways, I think we're going to get this set up with a nether star here in just a moment. But let's go ahead and... There it is. Bear rod and the bear cap. Let's go ahead and get a bear cap. And then let's go ahead and get ourselves a bear rod. And then we're going to need the bear brush as well. Yeah, this right here. There we go. We have our 3 bare pieces. Now, if you take a look here, you can see that each of these can be used to make different things. If you hold shift, you can see what they add. And if you want a detailed explanation of this, you can find it in the Origins of Darkness book, which you can get in your Akashic Tome if you want. This right here. You can go to here. Yeah, right here. And this is going to basically give you an idea of all the modifiers. It's a little bit easier to look for it in here than going through JEI, because they're not really... one of those must have a silverfish. Brooms are super cheap, in all honesty, to make as well as to use also. But if you take a look here, you can get like speed, acceleration. All those parts are going to have different things. I'm not going to go over what all of these do. Some of them are for combat. Some of them are just for control of your broom. Now, I do plan on making quite a few different brooms. We'll probably make some that do like are made for attacking. And then we'll have others that are designed specifically just for flight. Now, the one that we're going to be making today is just kind of a fun, balanced kind of one. It's not really much in terms of attack. It does, I mean, I guess it catches mobs on fire, because we are going to be going with the Blaze Rod. The Blaze Rod gives us 3 to modifiers, 250 to speed, 100 to maneuverability, 100 to acceleration, 50 to levitation, and 2 to flame. Now, it's worth noting that not all of these are going to have everything. You can see, like, for example, this just has hunger and collision damage. So you kind of just want to find something that you're comfortable with. If you want additional modifiers, go for something with really high max modifiers. I think, what is it, Obsidian, maybe, that's got a bunch? Yeah, Obsidian has 8, but you can see that the speed, maneuverability, acceleration are all pretty low on that. We're going to be going with just a decent, just overall rod here. So we're going to go with the Blaze Rod, but like I said, we'll be making quite a few of these. So. Now for the brush, we are going to be going with, I think, a wool brush. This one right here, because it gives us 80 to speed and 100 to levitation, which is pretty good. You know, once again, maybe not the most OP starting one, but it's one that I like, honestly. And then for our cap, we are going to be going with a diamond gem cap, which gives us an extra 2 modifiers, 50 to maneuverability, and 100 to sturdiness. So there we go. Once again, if you want to know about all these different modifiers, just take a look through here, and you can see, you know, what all they do and everything. I actually like standing in here because I'm just getting XP just passively. Like, it's like I'm absorbing it from far off or something. But there we go. Now, if we take these and we just kind of place them out, you can see we're going to get a broom, diamond gem cap, wool brush, and blaze rod. Now, once you put the parts on there, there's no way to really change those out. I don't believe there used to be, so I doubt that there is. And if you take a look here, you can see the stats on this. So, flame, speed, levitation, acceleration, sturdiness, maneuverability. You start with 0 on all of those. And you have a cap. For example, Flame's cap is 12, Speed's cap is 300, Levitation's cap is 300, Acceleration's is 300, Sturdiness is 300, Maneuverability is 300. Now, Speed, you're going to notice that we get 330, so we've actually capped out Speed with this broom. Levitation, we're about halfway through, Acceleration 100, Sturdiness 100. Oh, and actually, this is crafting. I'm going to go ahead and let this craft up. There we go. And we can throw our broom in here, and we can get some blood into this. Now, really quickly, just to make our lives a little bit easier, let me get our final promise crafted up, since we're like basically there already. And basically, I'm probably going to wait to get into Vengeance Spirits until we go to the end, just because I don't want to deal with Vengeance Spirits until we can actually kill them and get their items. But there we go. There's our final promise of tenacity. And then let me go ahead. Yeah, I got enough blood in there. Our storage is 640,000 millibuckets. So, but there we go. There's that. Alright, so we throw this in there. You can see our crafting speed is substantially better now. And we can keep buffing this up a bit. and just stacking up our upgrades at this point. I'll probably be focusing more on velocity than productivity, but we will still fill out a stack of productivity. And now that I've got 4 of the Promise of Velocity in there, I'm going to go ahead and put Promise of Velocity into this last slot. So we're going to end up with 8 Promise of Velocity and 4 Promise of Productivity. So kind of prioritizing the speed over the efficiency. Because we have automated blood and it just doesn't matter, to be honest, if we use full amounts of blood for this. I know I'm getting a little bit sidetracked. I wasn't planning on actually like pushing blood evilcraft progression, but I don't know. Since we're already here, you know. There we go. That's filled out. I don't know. Honestly, I might just take speed again. Efficiency is a little bit better like in the blood chest. But, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to leave it at that for now. That'll be fine. Okay, but anyways, we got our broom now. So what we can do, let's come over to here. And then we've got our broom. Let's take a look here. We've got 5 modifiers. And we can, of course, we can take our broom and, oof, it's actually a little bit harder to leave. But you can see that we can now fly around on our broom. And also carrying our blood extractor, we can auto feed our broom. So you can see that this is going, well, you can see down there at the bottom right that our broom is going to be steadily consuming a little bit of blood as it flies. Now, one thing that I would like to do, yeah, you can see we used almost 300 millibuckets. But as far as our setup here, we've got, honestly, I'm comfortable with the maneuverability. I'm comfortable with the acceleration, the levitation, which is vertical speed. The speed is great. Like, for example, it's been a little while since I flew a broom, but you can see I can turn just fine with our current acceleration. I can go up just fine. Everything feels actually really, really comfortable at this point. So what I'm going to do is our modifiers. If we take a look here, let's see, to get efficiency, it's going to be dark power gems. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to craft it with that. And you can see that we now have an efficiency of 1 out of 30. We're going to go ahead, take that, and then let's go ahead and bump up the efficiency. Just focus completely on the efficiency. Now we will be able to add additional modifiers by using Garbanzo, which is, or Garmonboiza, but I call it Garbanzo, which we can do that once we get into Vengeance Essence, Vengeance Spirits. So we'll be pushing forward to that probably before too long, because now that we have Flight, the Ender Dragon will actually be fairly easy. But I do want to get spells before we go do that. And we can also use a Nether Star on it. So if we take a look here, Nether Star or Garbanzo is going to get us extra modifiers. But now, if we fly around with that extra efficiency, we are going to be less likely to consume blood as we fly, which of course is quite nice. Quite nice. Now in addition, if we pop down, let's grab our blood extractor. And not a whole lot of blood in this at the moment. But our blood extractor, if we do shift right click, that's going to set it to auto supply. And if we pop, say, onto our broom at this point, you're going to notice that at the bottom right there, you may have noticed it drained a little bit of blood from my blood extractor. Take a look at the broom, it's full on blood. So having a blood extractor with you, set to auto supply, is going to extend the amount of time, of course, that you can fly. Honestly, with just even 5 points of efficiency, which we will boost that, because that's pretty much what all my modifiers will go for on this broom, I think, our starter broom. But just boosting our efficiency and carrying a blood extractor, we'll be able to fly for a very, very long time. Because I barely had any blood in that, and you can see, I mean, it's barely touched it. Now, if you want to go for more efficiency, if we take a look here, Because honestly, I don't even remember what the highest efficiency pieces are. You can see Undead Rod gives you 10 to efficiency, which is actually pretty good. The Dark Power Gem Cap gives you 10 to efficiency, which is also pretty good. And okay, there's no brush that gives you efficiency. So it'd be Undead Rod and Dark Gem Cap. But I will say that going like for really high efficiency like that, like we could have got like say 25 efficiency. But that's really, I think, only important if you kind of struggle with blood, which we aren't really. I like this broom quite a bit because we kind of have a nice balance. We can control it really, really well. We have enough efficiency that we're not just like sucking down blood. And it's a suitable starter broom, I think, for us, since we do have kind of automated blood. And what's nice is if we run into mobs, you can see it actually sets them on fire. So, alright, so now at this point, we're going to grab ourselves a nature's compass. And we'll come back here shortly and see about tackling the wither. But what I would like to do right now is let's pop through to the overworld. And let's do a scan real quick for a Badlands biome. Because, okay, I would like to get a Badlands biome, ideally. Because right now, you know, I can get clay from washing sand, which is fine. But it would be a lot more bearable if I could just mine terracotta. And also while we're out, and since we are doing a little bit with evilcraft, let's go ahead and just bust this. And that way we can get ourselves an environmental acclimation core. Because we'll make use of that later. But let's go ahead and set back out. We'll come back to that. But you can see, I mean, we can kind of fly through the world at this point on our broom. So, I will say that personally I like, and we're going to be making one before too long, but personally I'm a big fan of brooms that have like skulls on the front. We don't have one with this. Originally I was actually considering going with, oh, and we do have these too. I forgot we got those in our storage. So just know that you can put those into machines and get blood out of it. Oh, by the way, if you open up your backpack, you will fall. So don't do that. But the nice thing about the broom is, like, if you're not moving, that's okay. You know, it's not like a jetpack where you gotta hover. It's actually a really good flight for building. And it's a flight that is not gated whatsoever within this pack. You know, there's spells and things like that you could get where you could fly fairly easily. But this is a really good building flight. Which is what I want. Plus, it's a really good travel flight, you know, exploring the world, that kind of thing. And it's really easy to toggle on and off, of course. Oh, we do have a beach here. Do we happen to have a waystone? Because it seemed like Turtlemancy, I'm going to need a beach, and I was wanting to start that kind of soonish, because it just sounds awesome. But I was waiting for a time when we could actually travel easy, which is like now. Well, there's turtles. Yeah, we're definitely going to be starting up Turtlemancy pretty soon. We're going to be starting into Worm's Roost soon. I know I've said that before, but we are. I'm just kind of waiting until I get an area set up for them. This is honestly, if you couldn't tell, I've been really loving this pack. And this is a pack that I feel like there's so much that I want to do, and I just don't have time to do it all. So I'm just kind of like trying to take it in steps. Oh, those are from Mousie's mobs, the wyverns. And we actually got a pirate ship here. Smoke on the water. We will we'll explore some of this stuff a little bit later. Guardian Temple here. Another pirate ship. I think that's a different mod that's adding it, though. One of those might be the Quark one, maybe. Now I know there's like other types of Badlands, like Badlands Plateau, maybe. Can I find one of them? Nope. Can I find We did find some glaciers, though, which is good. Oh, and it is worth mentioning that you can actually make a broom that can dig blocks as well. That might be something we set up. Because I kind of want to have a bunch of different brooms, because this is a great pack for going with that for flight. In all honesty. Because, yeah, like going with fling or something like that is great, but it's not a building flight. And it's important that we have a flight that will work for building flight, because we're going to be doing a lot, and I mean a lot, of vertical building. I'm making sure I get my broom recharged. But we're going to be doing a lot of like building where we're going to be working on the edges of the building and stuff like that. And the broom actually has a lot of control. Like if you want to stop, just hit S, you know, pull back, and you can just kind of freely steer this, and you don't need to like toggle, you know, a jetpack or something like that where you're bouncing up and down. And you can fly for a very long period of time. And blood is, you know, the system we have set up right now is perfectly fine for blood. Though we are going to get a nether star onto that, just so that it kind of generates without us standing around in there, which will be good. But I'm having no luck whatsoever finding a Badlands. I'm having no luck finding land. There's some land at long last. Okay, I came back home because I'd went out like a lot of blocks, and I found a waystone. So what we're going to do now, we're going to switch over for just a second here. Let's come out to, say, right here. This should be sufficient. And we are going to summon ourselves a wither. And we're just going to have ourselves a nice aerial battle with the wither. Because why not? We got a broom now, so we're not that worried about it. Actually, summoning it here probably not the best idea. I should have done it in the overworld, but that's okay. We can use the pie rope sword. And we want to try to not move too fast. And just get right underneath them and just kind of steadily go up. There we go. And boom. Actually, it might be best just to do this. And let's see if I can find my nether star. It could still be... Oh, there it is. Oh, there's our nefarious essence. And our broom, by the way, it doesn't have swimming. If you do like Guardian Rod, or do one of the modifiers that has swimming, you'll end up with a broom that can actually go through water. Ours cannot. Actually seems like we did not get a yellow heart. It could be somewhere weird, but generally the stuff's all going to land kind of like right around the same area. So, well, anyways, now that we got our nether star, let's pop back right there. Go slash home. Alright, so now our spawner will continue spawning. Now, of course, we could boost this up. For example, we could put sugar and clocks in there and increase spawn count. I'm not that worried about that. We are going to add some redstone control later, so we can turn it off. But for right now, I just want blood kind of constantly coming in, and we have achieved that at this point. And that way I can kind of fill up our blood extractor. Now, another thing that we're going to do really, really quick is let's go ahead and make ourselves another one of these dark tanks. Okay, it looks like I'm out of iron. I'd smelted up a bunch, so, but I figured I'd probably be running out before long. Let's go ahead and get ourselves another dark tank. And of course, we could use this one to upgrade this one to increase our total, you know, capacity that we can store within that tank. But I think we're going to use this one with our blood extractor. That way we can store 194,000 millibuckets in this. And then I'll be making some more dark tanks to boost storage there as well. But for now, let's go ahead and head through. This is going to make traveling so much better. Oh, we could actually get the Enchanter's Pearl now. The Twist is also a really good book. It takes a bit to make it, but we could actually pull that off. Because this is something that if we enchant it, we don't suffer the decrease to damage from our curse, and we get plus 300% damage and knockback. The damage being against bosses and players, but that is something that we might actually make. And then Scroll of 1,000 Curses is a tempting one too. So that's stuff that we will definitely be considering as we move forward. But I'm not sure what I want to use my Heart of the Earth for. So, but anyways, let's head out and see if we can find ourselves a Badlands. Okay, I finally found one. We are about 7,000 blocks away. I did find another Heart of the Earth while I was exploring, so we might make something with that here soon, since we've got an extra one. I'm just kind of trying to hold on to, you know, one, because there is quite a bit of things. And depending, I'll probably end up wanting to make the book, because that extra boost in damage would be quite nice, I think. And if you want to see, I've traveled out like this. That desert is massive, by the way. So, before all we had explored was like this little area. But the Broom does make it a lot easier. So, I'm kind of checking some of the environmental acclimators as I go by. But aside from the Heart of the Earth, I haven't found anything too memorable out of those. So here we go. Here's our Badlands. Now let's take a quick look around this Badlands to see if we have more of like the mesa style. Like the plateaus. Actually, I'll just scan for a plateau for that matter. If we don't have one, then that's okay. 1,200 blocks off in this direction. So that would be even better. The terracotta is just a bit more accessible. And we can grab different colors. Though the colors don't really matter that much. But what does matter is the fact that I can grab these various different types, these different colors of terracotta, and not even have to use a dye. You know, I can turn them into whatever color that I want there. So now this is the Wooded Badlands Plateau. So let me go ahead and get the other plateau at least on the map real quick. But yeah, and especially the fact that we have large biomes, we should have more than enough terracotta here that we'll be able to build out pretty much all of our roof easily. Because, I mean, all I'm really using the terracotta for is the roof and then some of the borders, you know, in some of the rooms, like for the occultism room, you know, we use the black terracotta, and then we'll be doing the roofs and stuff. So, and then I can just grab, you know, every color here is fine. Regular terracotta isn't quite as great because then I have to use a dye on it, but it's still better than having to make the terracotta myself, because just doing the little bit of roof that I did was a little bit exhaustive on clay. And I'm just going to drop a waystone in right here. Another thing I've noticed is it seems like it only costs XP to teleport, because like Distant North Village is free to teleport, and it's way over here. It's almost 26,000 blocks away. So it seems like it only costs XP in this pack to teleport cross-dimensionally. And otherwise, it doesn't cost anything. So, whoa. I need to set up something to actually gather up all that XP. But we're up to 641 bones. And this is completely filled up. So, there we go. But honestly, I don't think we actually have a good experience collector right now. So, we'll probably have to wait on that. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so we're going to end this one out here, I think. And then next episode, when we come back, we won't be doing evilcraft next episode. I'm going to try to get a bit of building done, and I think we are going to be setting up maybe for automatic weathered limestone. Because we've been at the point where we could do that for a little bit, and I'm getting to the point, I'm trying to cut down a lot of the time that I spend building as far as getting materials, and just having weathered limestone automated. It's going to cut down on my kind of block processing time. because of course, a lot of what I'm using is weathered limestone, especially for the exterior. And then, of course, getting that terracotta is going to make my life a bit easier because my roof is all black terracotta. If we get the limestone knocked out, that's going to cut down a lot on our time. And then probably the next thing we're going to do is start turning our attention towards a wood farm, I think, as far as our automation stuff goes. Come next episode, if I get the area built out, we might do limestone, or we might do wood, or we might do something else. I don't know for sure. So, but a lot of our focus so far in this series has been just getting sort of the character development stuff out of the way and getting us to a pretty good position as far as gear and tools and stuff like that, and then kind of simplifying our lives as far as building goes. So, but luckily our build is pretty cheap in terms of blocks that we're using. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.